Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Um, this is Bree from EJM, the creator, photographer, videographer, writer, everything for EJM. Tell me about you guys. Who are you guys? What do you guys do?
So my name is Caitlin Kipp. I'm currently a junior at Wayne State studying neuroscience. I also am a creative, so I express myself through movement. I dance, and I also like fashion. So I like to create clothes and try to put together different outfits in like a unconventional or a quirky way.
Awesome. Awesome. What's going on next?
I can go next. I'm Amber. I recently graduated in December in a degree in creative advertising and public relations, but I'm just a creative at heart. So I started the House of Ville really as an outlet for people to raise awareness and funds for mental and emotional health with like painting as a stress reliever. But it kind of took off in the pandemic because obviously like people were going through a lot and people were also looking for things to do at home, which was a trying time. So yeah, now I do like a lot of individual paint kits and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
My name is my name is Mir. I am also a creative. I express myself through painting. My medium is acrylic. I also do graphic design slightly, and I also am a fan of fashion. So
Awesome. Awesome. It's
that's
so
me.
lovely to meet you guys. I've looked at all of you guys' work. Amazing creators, hands down. Super excited to speak with you all. I do want to tell you guys some context about this issue. So, for this issue, Experimentalist Journal, it's called I Feel Liberated. And it's titled that because as I'm growing as a creative, as an individual, I am recognizing some of society's downfalls in the creative realm and some of those involving women with sexism and misogyny and how that's sort of playing into, so like, specifically Detroit's creative realm and how women are viewed and how women are somewhat excluded from a lot of creative things in the city. And I'm looking to sort of make this a more inclusive place because I think it wouldn't do a magazine justice or the creators who I serve justice to not talk about these issues. So guess we could start with the first question. Have you all ever experienced misogyny or sexism in any way, whether it be creatively or school, at work, or wherever? Have you experienced that at all?
Yes, I definitely have. And I think it's sad to say, but majority of women throughout some period in their life have, I feel like. And specific examples are definitely in the workplace. Like there's been times where at my previous job, I've been asked to clean up other people's mess because I'm a woman and they expect me to be the cleaner and the person who mops everything. So I've been expected to clean up the mess that men made or make up for their mistakes just because I'm the woman working there, sadly.
Yes, yes, that's, yes,
Yeah, I
definitely.
definitely agree with Caitlin, especially, is it Caitlin?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with Caitlin, especially in the workplace. My very first job was Foot Locker. And of course, that's the sneaker industry, which is male dominated. So me there, I was kind of treated as like the cleanup after me, pick up behind me, follow what I say. And I was the assistant manager and still being treated like that, which is wild. But yeah, definitely experienced misogyny and sexism just being a woman in a shoe store.
Mm.
Yeah. I have in probably like every environment you can think of, like with my family, which I really don't even talk to certain people anymore, but people just hold like my brother and I, or like the man, people were married to like different standards and expect, us to not speak up about it or address certain things that are disrespectful or kind of just hold us to like a higher standard as women. I also come from like a very traditional household, so like very religious, kind of like the man is the lead and things like that. But also, I used to work at a golf course, a country club as like a waitress, and like it was a predominantly white, older male demographic, and a lot of things were just borderline like sly, like harassment, you know, like people like hit, I don't know, it just was weird. I feel like people really wouldn't do that if, you know, it was a male or anything else. And just everyday life, I mean, going to the car repair shop, I feel like I have to take a guy with me because people would try to like get over on me and so.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah. You guys have like really great like examples. Yeah, I've actually experienced it too. At school, at work, especially like it's kind of weird 'cause I'm very like vocal about my opinion and my statements. I'm very vocal about advocating for myself, and I still kind of experience these things. It's really shocking because I can say the exact same thing as a man, and it's like, nah, he said this. Like, yeah, it's like this is the way to go, and it bothers me actually to my core because I don't know. I think my opinions and my ideas have a lot of value, and I mean that's probably just me gassing myself up, but I do think that they have value, and they often get discredited with something like doesn't sit well with me at all. So thank you for sharing your experience with me. Moving forward, so like, have you guys experienced this specifically in the creative realm? I guess like whether it be in the city or just like on Twitter or Instagram, have you experienced this sort of in a creative space as well?
Most definitely. I think because so much of my art has to do with my body, like with dance, it's making different lines and shapes and things like that with my body. And then with fashion, it's modeling the clothes on my body and how things fit certain ways and certain like shapes that the clothes will make. I feel oftentimes my art isn't viewed as art, but instead it's kind of like objectified and commodified because it is so much to do with like my body and modeling things on my body. So I definitely feel like that's one way I experience misogyny, just like having my art not viewed as art, but like, oh, she has on this, or she's wearing this that's little, or something like that, instead of actually viewing it for what it is and what's on my body.
That that's valid. That's an interesting perspective. Now, I'm really sorry that you experienced that. That's messed up. Have either of you, Mir or Amber, experienced in the creative realm at all?
Yes, definitely. I noticed like on social media plays a big part in misogyny and sexism when it comes to creativity. Because, say, for example, I post my artwork, you know, it's skipped over, and basically my art is considered something cute as a hobby, you know, but let a man create something and it could be the same tier of work I created. Oh, you got this, bro. That's fire, bro. Keep going, bro. And you like, damn, like, hello, my art is right here. Like, it's definitely different opinions and different views when it comes to a woman creating art and when it comes to a man creating art. Like, when a man creates art, it's the greatest gift to the world. But when a woman creates art, it's like, oh, that's cute. What's next? Like,
That's also valid. I've noticed that a lot, especially in the city. You and Kate both are on some like very like straight lines here with your points. Those are both valid, and I've noticed that. That's why I'm having this conversation because I don't think women get enough credit in the city. What about you, Amber? Sorry, what about you? How have you experienced?
I don't know. I haven't, like, most of the experiences I have, like, in the creative world, like, it's been with my business, and it's typically with people who want to do business with me. So people tend to like watch what they say more when they need something from you, or kind of, you know, play that role. But when I was in undergrad, most of my classes, my creative classes for my major, were like predominantly male. Most of my professors, actually, I think like all my professors were males, and mostly like white males. And then I just feel kind of like not even included in I don't know, like the conversation sometimes, or like the I don't know, just the atmosphere can be a little, especially being like a few different minorities, like a woman, a Black woman, like, you know, it's different. So that's really where most of my experiences with like the creative realm have come from.
that's facts though, because just in conversation, like, I hate for a guy to mansplain art to me like I'm not doing the same thing he doing.
Mhm.
It's kind of like he talk to you like you don't know nothing, but it's just like I'm doing the same exact thing. Like, don't talk to me like I'm a kid. Like, we're
Exactly.
doing the same exact thing. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, yes. As Mike said, I've had sort of the same experiences as all three of you. Well, maybe not the same like the body thing. I don't really show my body that often. My work is more so taking landscape pictures or I'm writing articles about other creatives. Um, to Amber's point about people needing something from you, like I will work with my creatives and they'll like sometimes like not male. I'm the one to say mainly male, but mainly male creators. They'll be like, this and this about this article. I'm like, I'm doing you a service. Like I'm writing an article about you so more people can know about you. I'm like, if I don't want you in here, I will not write your article. I will not post your article. It's like the audacity. You know what I'm saying? People have the audacity. And that really does bother me because like especially like if you have like a service kind of thing whether it's like it's different if you're just posting your work. Like misogyny is very well alive in that too. But if you're doing a service one, to me, I don't charge to write articles. I write them because I like to write. And like, yeah, you didn't do this about my article. I'm like, nigga, I didn't have to post your article. I didn't have to write about
Right.
you. I chose you because I liked your content. But then like once you start, showing your true colors, your attitude, your audacity, like you gotta
It
know.
gives a sense of entitlement.
Yes, and it's like for where does it come from? And it really all stems from like society's view on like man is this, woman is this, and man is always gonna be above woman, and that is a problem. People are not talking about that enough, and the reason that they're not talking about it enough is because they benefit from that privilege, and that's not cool. That is people are they're very like into self-preservation. We're talking about I posted this on my Instagram story actually. People responded with like this response self-preservation, and that's very true. And I looked more into it. I'm like, yeah, that's facts because people if they don't see a problem, it's because they're getting a benefit from it. They're not going to change. They're not going to care to make a change. It's a problem.
It is. And I really like what Amber said about like how most of her professors were white males. I feel like in so many like creative like mediums, it's like male dominated and specifically white males. Like I do research on fashion because I have a fashion blog. And when I just research some of these fashion houses and these big brands, it's like all of the creative directors or all of the people who own them are all white males. And it's like, when are we going to see some representation of women and specifically Black women being the owner of these fashion houses or the creative directors for these fashion houses? I feel like it's very rare that you see Black women in those positions. And it's like, why is that?
Absolutely. It's I'm always like, I hate this about society. Society goes in phases and steps, and that's such a childish thing to me because they get one step like, oh my gosh, you already have this. Like Virgil Abloh, the creative director for Louis Vuitton, right?
Mhm.
Like you want Black women to be in this position? Like you just got Virgil Abloh. Like that's not progressive enough. We need the quickness. People are not willing to sort of make that change and recognize that we can't be going in baby steps anymore. We need to go full throttle, full speed because we have to catch up now. We're playing a game of catch up.
Yeah, and I even still feel like when you see it nowadays, people are kind of just trying to slap it on there to say diversity and inclusion, you know what I'm saying? Because like the world is very like vocal right now about injustices and prejudices and things like that. And I feel like people have just been like adding, like a woman in there or like a Black woman or a minority, an Asian woman or anything like that. And it's giving me like save face type. Yeah, like just for the PR, you know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely, and that's with everything. That's even like your corporate jobs. They will hire you because you're a Black woman. Like it's very much alive and well, and it's not even like just creative. That's just everything, and it's a sad reality actually. Like it's really disheartening to know that's where we're at. That's where we're at in society. People are getting appeased and getting these positions because companies want them for their public relate. Like it's really just it's not ideal and it's not sustainable because people are catching on to it now. Obviously, people are starting to realize that. So moving forward, why do you guys think that sexism and misogyny occurs, and how do you think we can resolve that, creators?
So personally, I feel like it occurs because it's ingrained into some of these like mediums. Like for example, I know dance was basically founded off of like misogyny, sexism, and racism, and it was very like it excluded Black people for the longest time. Like professional dance excluded Black people and excluded women of color, and just treated women all around terribly. Like people would not pay their dancers a lot, and people would basically treat them badly. They have really like poor ways of treating them. And I think that is so ingrained into some of these mediums that people don't even want to stray away from it or even try to stray away from it. Like the people who are benefiting from it are like, it's fine, we don't need to change it because they're the ones benefiting. But I definitely think in order to progress and move in the right direction, we need to start having these conversations, but not from us, because we're already vocal about it. We're already having these conversations as Black women, but we need other people to start addressing it when they see it. Like men need to start addressing it when they see it from their peers and their counterparts and call it out instead of us having to call it out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with Caitlin. Like I feel like it's been that way since the beginning, and people are very comfortable with it. And when they like to a point where if they were to call it out, they'll just kind of like brush it off, which it shouldn't be like that. Like I remember I was watching a Black art documentary on HBO, and they went down the list of like all the Black artists, like your Jacob Lawrence's and all this. But I want to say like in the early 60s, it was a group of Black men who came together because it was such a fight to get contemporary art and modern art from Black artists shown at museums like the MoMA and stuff like that. And then I remember it was a Black woman who wanted to join these group of men, and they basically told her like, no, like you're a woman, we're doing this as a group of, and it's like she's a Black artist during the same time period, during the same time frame, trying to bring change, and you tell her no because she's a woman. Sick. It's sick. But I definitely feel like to change it, agreeing with Caitlin again, people just need to speak up. Like Black women should not have to vocalize every time something is wrong. Like other people see when something is wrong, but they don't want to speak up. Like we are not the mascot. We are not anything when it happens to us. Like you see it, you say something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird. People want to write a think piece on everything else, but they don't want to stand up for Black women.
Yes, and I think it's really shameful that Black women specifically require the validation of men in order to get issues resolved. Like a Black man has to see your problem as a problem before it even gets addressed for real. Like acknowledging that the problem exists is like the pre-step before it actually getting resolved. So like your problem may not be even seen as a valid problem, and that in itself is an issue. And that's like it's really shameful that that's where we're at right now, because people are like, oh, we've progressed so much as a society, we've gotten to this point, and it's like, no, we may not be in like some of the same predicaments we were in the 1800s, early 1900s, but we are very much still struggling, very much still, and very much still marginalized, experiencing the same exact issues, just on like a more discrete level. And it's problematic. People assume problems disappear because their approach is discrete. And that's a problem. That in itself is an entire issue that no one's willing to talk about. And it's like we don't have the time or the energy to keep fighting for things like this. Like it's like we keep vocalizing what we want, but we gotta wait for it to be valid enough to vocalize about. Like that's not okay. That is not. I'm sorry, Amber. Do you have anything else? Do you have anything to say about that?
No, I think you guys hit on a lot. I just think that, I mean, what I'll say, I think it takes for things to hit home, like on a, almost like a national like scale, like the racial injustice movements, like for so many people to be like personally outraged, and then it keep happening and it keep gaining like such strong media attention. I don't know. I kind of feel like we're starting to get there with like, I don't know, like with women, like empowerment and women movements, but like I just think that we probably won't see these things really like we're living through history, you know what I'm saying? So this is like a 20, 30, 40 year like thing, like in textbooks. And I just think that like it's progressing, but it's, I don't know, it's not really where it should be, you know what I'm saying? So
You're
I don't
absolutely
know.
right. Absolutely right. It is a 30, 40-year battle. And like, it's crazy because textbooks make it seem like it was, they give you the perception that it's a short amount of time, but then you read about it, it's like, oh, this took like 4 decades to really get through. And it's like, I think especially as like kids, like we read stuff about the women's suffrage and stuff, and we're like, oh, they got to this. They give you very minimal details about it, about how it happened, how long it's taken. Like, oh, they got through this. Like the fact that it's a 4 decade fight, like imagine us being all 40, we're just now getting the right to be like, oh yeah, our problems matter.
Right.
Like that's literally such a problem in society. But I do agree, we are progressing in a way. But we are progressing, absolutely. But I don't know, it's just like some of the things that we experience, it's like it shouldn't take that much progression for us to really be going through. It's like to really to have these changes now. Like the changes that we want and that creators want, that Black women want, are not like these insane requests. They're just decency, just decency. And it's really sad that this is the reality, actually. So I guess the last question I had, how do you guys think Detroit's creative realm can be more inclusive to women?
I definitely think that the male creatives in Detroit need to kind of open up more space and uplift Black women's voices more. Like, I feel like they're pretty much okay with how things are right now, with us being like in the shadows and not in the forefront, as long as they're in the forefront and their art is getting out. And this isn't to say that everybody is like that, because I know there are people who really support Black women in Detroit and share our art and whatnot. But I feel like as a majority, there needs to be more of like, here, I'm taking up this space, let me move out of the way and let me like let you have this space, especially because I feel like sometimes people will make art about our struggle kind of, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not your place to be telling the story of our struggle. So it's kind of like, let us tell our own stories and give us the platform to do it.
Absolutely.
Yes, that 100%. I think the first step to, making the Detroit creative scene more inclusive to women is just by number one, respecting women. I know it's a lot of Detroit creatives that, not all, but it is some out there. Every opportunity they get to work with a brilliant woman with ideas and, plans and mindsets, they try to sexualize the situation, or they try to diminish her art by, and it just, honestly, it pisses me off a great deal, because it's just like, you here and you hyped up with your bros and you got them, and here I am presenting you with the idea, and you just kind of telling me to step back. No, you're gonna respect me, because I can probably do this 10 times better than you can. Like, don't little dog me. Like, don't do that. Like, respect me. Know that I can work on your team and I can be efficient to your team, because you don't know everything as a man. You just don't. So I definitely say it starts with respect and appreciation. Appreciate me as a woman who creates. Mm-hmm. Just like I appreciate you as a man that creates, and don't look at me any different than that.
Period. Because that's bad.
I definitely agree with what Kaylin was saying, though. I think that men need to be allies. I think, you know what I'm saying? I think they need to use their power, and their platforms more to be more inclusive. And I guess just recognize that, like, it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with what all of you guys are saying. Acknowledging that the space needs to be shared, acknowledging that they are taking up space that isn't rightfully theirs to take up, because they are men, and acknowledging that women have good ideas, acknowledging that women are capable, acknowledging that women can do anything just as well, maybe even better than you can. That's just the thing. Like, people don't like to blatantly be misogynist. Like, oh, I hate women. Oh, I think women suck. No, it's very subtle things you notice. Like how Amir mentioned, about sexualizing women. The over sexualization of women is crazy. It's very prevalent in the city. I think we've all seen it one way or another. I think acknowledging women deserve respect and deserve to be heard rather than just seen. And that's a problem. Like a lot of men think women are just to be seen, as they're objectified. And that's just simply not the case. And it shouldn't be the case. And yeah, it's a problem. But thank you guys so much for speaking with me today and your amazing perspectives, your amazing viewpoints, and your contributions to this magazine. Actually, this has been one of the most impactful conversations that I've had with any group of people. You guys have amazing perspectives, and I'm so glad to be able to speak to you all. You guys are brilliant, amazing creatives, and I'm so happy to have had this conversation with you guys to speak about some real issues, because there's much more to creativity than just creativity. There's some very underlying, not so subtle things that occur in the creative world that people don't talk about. So thank you again so much for being here and speaking with me. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Of course.